Hey guys, it's good to hang out with you. We're live, and this is going to be a really fun, exciting hangout. I'm really looking forward to this one. It's going to be me and about 20 other YouTube creators who I've gotten to know over the past 10 weeks in the Video Labs course. And we spent a lot of time together, and we know each other's channels very well by this point. And I thought it'd be cool for you guys just to hear a YouTube tip from each of them, and for us to just discuss it together a little bit. We will also be taking questions, so if you have a question about one of the tips that they share, or something else, we would love to help you answer some of those questions together. So in the chat of this video right here on YouTube, go ahead and you can post your questions there, and I'll do my best to try to grab some of those and for us to discuss here. So welcome everybody. I see Mr. Vintage Victory, I can't say some of these. Zenk, welcome. Town Rag, Zimborn, Michelle Monty, Max Shillahan. Awesome. This is going to be fun. Michelle, this is the hat I'm wearing today. She asked which hat I'm going to be wearing. This one right here. Now you know. So a couple things before we get started and digging into their tips, though. The links to all of their YouTube channels are in the description of this video here on YouTube. So if one of them, they're going to tell you a little bit about their channels right before they give you their tip. And so if they say something, it's like, hey, that sounds like something I'm interested in, or I want to check out, or like, where's that person's channel? Because I know you guys will be asking, like, where is that person? Where is that person? Like, their channel, the links to all their channels in the description below this video. So go check them out. If one of their channels sounds of interest to you, and I know some of these will, because some of these channels are awesome. All of them are awesome, but some of them will be more awesome for you as a creator than others. So they're going to be great. Check them out down there. And the only other thing I'll say before we get started is, well, two more things, sorry. These people are from the Video Labs course, so if you're interested in learning more about that course, there's a link to it in the description of this video. The next one won't start until January 2016. But you can get more information about it anyway in case you're curious about what it is. So that's down there. And then the last thing is, I love doing these hangouts with you guys, and sometimes those of you who are around a lot, you know I just spontaneously just do these at times, and I just hop on and be like, I got some time, the kids are in bed and my wife's gone, like I'll hop online and answer questions and hang out with people, and just bring all the creators I can into the hangout. So if you want to get notified next time I do that, there's also directions in the description of this video where you can join my text message list, and usually whenever I go live, I'll just send out a quick text message with a link to the hangout and be, hey, I'm going live right now, if you guys want to talk, come hang out. And I'll send out a text message so I can just notify you, and if you're available and want to come hang out, be awesome, you can right from your phone. If you're not, no worries, just delete my text message. So I only use that text message for announcing the when I go live, so no other reason do I send you text messages other than that, so I promise. Cool. Oh, Michael, or Marlon looks like he already has some fans here. I see Michael Abio. I love Marlon doll cooking. Power animated videos. Marlon, your channel is making me hungry. So that's awesome. All right, we're gonna have fun here. Let's dig into some YouTube tips and answering some of your questions. So I'm gonna just go down the line here for me. I don't know how it's ordered for you guys, but Will, tell us a little bit about your channel and what tip and advice do you have for YouTube creators?
Yeah, my name is Will, and my channel is a business book channel and self-development channel. And my tip is that you should really figure out what your target audience is and that value proposition you want to bring to them. And then you want to niche down, and sometimes niche down a few extra levels, and therefore you can speak directly to them and they will understand you better.
Yeah, that's great. What is the target audience and value proposition? For people who haven't heard those terms before, what are you referring to there?
Yeah, so a target audience is the specific type of people that you want to go for. So, for instance, for my channel, it may be entrepreneurs that are aged 20 to 30 who are trying to, get better at happiness and get more business. And value proposition is basically, well, why should I subscribe or even listen to you? What type of value can you bring to that audience?
Yeah. Yeah, so both of those are super important. And the rest of you guys here, why have those two things been really important for developing your own audience and your own channel?
Do you want us to dive in?
Yeah, go ahead, just jump in. Hello. Hi, Kim.
Hi. Well, it helps you, for one, clarify the content you're creating, and creating it in a way that your audience needs and devours.
Yeah, go
I
ahead,
think it's
Tom.
also, Tim, with watch time being an important to YouTube, the better you're speaking to your audience, the longer they're going to watch your videos. So I think understanding that audience is key.
Yeah, awesome. Great, Tom. What's your channel? What tip do you have for us?
So my name's Tom Mills. I have a channel called Green Shorts. My videos are all about personal sustainability. I believe that we all have a connection with the environment. I think in many ways we've forgotten it. And so my videos are designed to help you reconnect with your connection to being green. So they're focused on simple and easy ways to be green. And I think once people see the ways that they can be green, they'll be green. They're ready. They're primed for that. But there's also an added benefit of saving green, of saving money at the same time. So my value proposition, Will just talked about, value proposition is see green, be green, and save green. And so I want to talk, my tip today is about the idea of audience retention. That being one of the analytics that YouTube provides. YouTube provides a lot of analytics, and one of our speakers in the course talked about something called analysis paralysis, and then you can get consumed by looking at analytics. So as a new creator on YouTube, I would suggest you just look at audience retention, because there's a lot to be learned there. It helps you understand how long people are watching your video. There's kind of a graph that kind of generally trends down, and so you're looking for flat spots in that. What that would indicate that people are staying connected to your video. So you also want to look for where those drops are happening too. It's sort of the caveman analytic: flat, good; down, bad. So I think if you just have to dip your foot into YouTube analytics, audience retention is what you want to look at first.
Yeah, super important. By the way, Tom, are those crushed cans on your wall back there?
I've actually, this is my logo. I'll turn you so you can see. I pull this off and bring it to trade shows when I speak or have a booth. So yeah, there are cans on there. It's also made out of reuse wood.
It's like big shorts. It's cool.
They are a big pair of shorts. Actually, I have. People always want to know, well, where are your green shorts, Tom?
Please don't show us your shorts.
I do actually have a pair of green shorts.
Oh, he took them off. Okay.
Do you wear them?
I do. They do fit me. I have lost a little weight, so they fit me again, which is nice. So yeah, I have. I generally will use those when I'm talking to kids.
Cool. So the audience retention thing is really important for us. Joe, do you use that? And what's the audience retention done for you in your content?
It's shown me how few people stick around for my end card. No, it's a good analytic to watch, not just because that's what Google sticks with the most, but also, like Tom said, it kind of gives you a clue on what kind of things you're doing that people are sticking around for, and what you might be doing that are losing people, and what little things you can stick in there that actually causes it to jump a little bit. It's all good stuff to know.
Yeah. Yeah, so the more dips you can iron out the audience retention graph, the more watch time you'll get, which means the more you'll get featured and promoted in search and related videos, which means the more exposure you get. So learning how to make content that is really valuable to people, that's what that audience retention graph is for. So that's,
it's like immediate market feedback.
Yeah. Even if you don't like the feedback, it doesn't like, because a lot of people are like, oh, your videos are so good, you should have more subscribers, why don't you have 1 million subscribers? And then you go look at your audience retention, you're like, well, there's one person that thinks that, but the rest of people, it can help you definitely improve and grow. It's awesome.
And it's probably your mom.
Yeah. Yep.
Or your dog.
Marlon, what's your channel about, and what's your tip for us?
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. I'm Marlon. My channel is Bachelor on a Budget. So it's a cooking channel. I teach people how to make cheap, healthy, and tasty meals that they can make at home. Started this channel about 5 months ago, but I experienced some pretty rapid growth, which has been really helpful. Tim's video course has been really helpful for that. But yeah, my one kind of tip is to be passionate about your niche. And passion will help you learn more about it. It'll encourage you to learn more, and it'll show authenticity on camera, also authority, but it'll really help you craft more content. So you want to make sure you're passionate about your niche and really narrow that down.
Awesome. Why are you passionate about your channel?
Well, this is the channel that I wanted to know about, and I'm passionate about sharing all the food that I'm learning about and cooking, and I just wanted to share the meals that I'm making with other people to learn from, because I think there's a lot of value in learning how to make cheap meals at home.
I like cheap meals at home.
Yes, you do.
Cool. If someone, this is open for all of you guys, if they're like, man, like I just don't know what I'm passionate about. I'm passionate about so many different things. What advice would you give them for how to like narrow down and be like, this is what you should focus on? Any advice or tips on that? Any of you guys here?
I think
Sure. Oh, go ahead.
watch yourself.
What'd you say,
All right.
John?
And then, no, I said just look at the channels that you watch yourself, and that's clearly the stuff that you're most interested in, and just do something and put your own twist on it.
Yeah. Go ahead, Greg.
Well, I was going to say, if I always ask the question, if you were able to quit your job tomorrow, what would you do tomorrow? And that's probably what you're most passionate about.
Sweet. And then Kim, were you gonna jump in, or someone else is gonna jump in?
Yeah, I always say if you were going to a deserted island and you could only take one interest with you, what would it be?
Now I'm questioning what am I doing. You know, like so many. Evan Carmichael says in the chat, he says combine your passions, which could be, you know, like what's the value thread that runs between all of them, that ties them all together. You know.
Yeah, I always do where you make a list and you write down like the favorite thing that you had, like let's say all the jobs that you've ever done. What was the thing that what were the jobs that you loved the most, and what did you love doing at that job? And then on the other side of the piece of paper, what's the one thing that if you could wake up in the morning, the first thing you could do, you know, that you would do that would just fill you with like excitement. First thing you grab, first thing you read, and then you find it in between there.
Yeah. Cool. So Wicked K says they're passionate about sleeping. And
know what? A
Shani
lot
says
of
they're
women
passionate about
don't
eating.
sleep.
So you should check out Marlon's channel because that will definitely make you passionate about eating what he cooks. Maybe not cooking it, but
That can help you sleep when you can't sleep anymore.
yeah.
And then you can, after you eat Marlon's food, then you can get a good nap in. So that.
Yeah. Cool. Well, thank you. Kim, what's your channel about, and what tip do you have for us?
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Kim Castle. My channel is Kim Castle, like a queen lives in a castle. And after recovering from adrenal fatigue, low thyroid, metabolic syndrome, weight gain, hair falling out, all the lovely things that happen, as I call a part of type A disease, I help busy women get their energy back. And I do it by exploring, you know, really understanding hormones, really understanding what we're doing, how we're thinking, how we're driving ourselves too much. I do cosmetic reviews, product reviews. I also share sinfully nutritious recipes like sugar-free, gluten-free desserts so that you can eat your way back to feeling great in your body again. And that's what I'm passionate about. Having been a overdriving professional woman, I've been the hell and back, and I know what the light looks like on the other side of exhaustion.
Well, welcome back.
And thank you. It is a joy to be back. My tip is, you know, when you first start out doing videos, you have an idea, wow, it'll be fun to do videos, and you pretty quickly find out that it takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of energy, and it becomes this thing that you have to feed on a regular basis. And the fuel that gets you through that is two types of why. One is, what is that passion we were talking about? What is that thing that you just feel like people need to know, or there's this hole in the market, you know, people don't know this. And you also have to understand the why of how it affects your life. Is it a hobby? Are you just doing this for a hobby? And you let that hobby fuel you, or it's really for a business, and you need to know how making videos really your business, and you get to create it any way you want to create, but know how videos really play a part of it.
Yeah. So why? What's your why?
What's my one? I
Right, yeah.
believe that women, we affect the world. We affect, when a woman is having a bad day, everybody's having a bad day. And I really believe that if I help women stop, yeah, Tom's going, yep. If I help women stop pushing, as I've been a pusher since I was a competitive athlete since 7 years old, if we realize that our power comes from a different place, and when we are truly functioning in that place of power, the world is a better place for ourselves and everyone around us.
That's good. Juan, why do you do what you do on YouTube? Put you on the spot.
Oh, me?
Yeah, Juan, yep.
Oh, what do I do? Well, because I like creating stuff. I mean, I like creating narrative content, and it's not just because I went to school for this, but I like doing this. I mean, I like telling stories, and I just like posting stuff up. I mean, yeah, I like being in the spotlight too, but then again, I like just entertaining people. So that's what I do.
Yeah, my why is like based on lots of stories and experience I've had, but it really comes down to what I say in all my videos. Like, this is about, this is not just about YouTube views. It's not just about getting more subscribers. Not just about making more money, although all those things are fine. This is about the opportunity we have to reach people with a message that could potentially change their life, and that comes out of a lot of stories from my wife and I. What we've been doing on YouTube for years, and we're like, really, like, the amount of impact you can have by being a creator on YouTube is just amazing. So that's why it matters to me, and that's really good. Understanding why you do it. Because the other thing that happens too, Kim, I'm sure you can speak to this, is that there's a difference between having a why, as in like, I want to be more popular, or I want to make more money, or I want to feel validated, or something like that, as opposed to having like a purpose for why you're doing it in a way that's meant to serve others. I feel like those people who have that actually keep pushing on their channel, and they're the ones that often become successful, because the other people give up because it's just, I don't know. Do you feel that's kind of true?
Absolutely. I think there's, and you attract people from that why. When people know that you're doing something that fills a hole or solves a problem for them, or illuminates something, I also find, you're right, that you keep going because you're constantly, let's say you've solved something in your life and that becomes your why. You're passionate about keeping that solved for yourself and solving it for others. You'll always be on the trail to keeping it solved, and or finding new ways to keep it solved or expand it. The why is everything.
Yeah, great, awesome. Thank you for that.
Can
Juan,
I add?
what's your channel about, and what do you do there?
Can I add to what Kim was just saying?
Sure, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I mean, the reason why it's so important is because it's one of the hardest things to figure out too. I mean, for the longest time I couldn't figure out my why exactly, and I remember during the class you kept asking me like, why should people care about your channel? And I was like, okay, da 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 da. But then you're like, yeah, but why? And I was like, da 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 da, and you're like, yeah, but why? And I was like, what does Tim want from me?
You got an annoying 5-year-old.
Are we there yet?
So, but no, I mean, it's really important to know why you're doing this, because I mean, you're just gonna lose your passion if you don't realize it, and then you're not gonna have an audience as well.
Yeah.
And
Great.
also, if your why doesn't include because I want this, it's outward facing. It's coming from you outward, much more powerful.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Thank you for that, Kim. Juan, what are you guys all about? And the rest of you guys who are watching, I'm looking for questions. Right now they're just fighting over music video stuff, but I'm looking for questions from you guys about that you'd like us as a group to answer here together once we've all kind of talked here for a second. So feel free to put those in the chat. So Marlon, or not Marlon, I'm sorry. Juan, what is your channel about?
Okay, so hey everybody, my name is Juan Alcazar. My channel is called JC5 Productions, and I'm a film student. Well, graduated from film school, and basically I've always been a storyteller. I like telling stories, so I thought, hey, why not go to film school? And after graduating, I thought maybe I could do the whole film festival thing. Find out it wasn't as easy as I thought. So I thought, after watching YouTube, I was like, okay, well, maybe I can do this, because I saw some filmmakers doing this as well. So I put all my eggs into that basket. And what my channel is all about is that it's trying to tell stories, either personal or fictional. But what I really want to say is that for creative people, there's a lot of barriers, especially if you're a filmmaker. You have to get a go-ahead from somebody, or sometimes you don't get the final say in your product. So what I'm trying to say is that you can go on here, and it can be not just here but anywhere else, where you can make your own thing. Don't have to listen to anybody else what they say. You can make your own product, and in my case, you get the director's cut every single time on my channel. So that's basically my value proposition.
Cool. That's awesome. So if people want to learn more, where they could go? Who could they go?
To JC5 Productions, my channel. Oh, and as far as my tip goes, okay, so you gotta hook the viewer in. Basically, you have such a short time to hook the viewer in. TV shows and movies, they have like maybe 4 to 5 minutes to hook you in, but you have only 15 seconds, and that's being generous. Most likely, hook them in within the first 10 seconds. And trust me when I say this, but you've likely ran into those channels that have like those 10, 20-second long intros, and you're most likely just close that video or whatever. So yeah, try to hook them in with something just as soon as possible, because it goes hand in hand with that audience retention. In those first 15 seconds, if you don't get them in, you're gonna see a big dip going downwards.
Yeah. Yeah, those first 15 seconds are so crucial. That's great. Yeah, and especially how they tie in and relate to the title and thumbnail too, right? So that's really important, because people, when they click on the title of the thumbnail, they're expecting something, and if that expectation isn't met fairly quickly, people will have a high abandonment rate and take off. And so you need to affirm for them really quickly that the value you clicked expecting to get is the value that will be delivered in this video. So it's really important. Cool. Joe, what are you up to, man? What's your channel about, and what's your tip?
Yeah, my name's Joe Scott. My channel is Answers with Joe, and it's a pretty simple premise, really. I take questions from viewers and comments, and I answer them with a little bit of a stand-up and filmmaking background involved. This is not my set, by the way.
That's his closet.
My set is slightly better designed than this, but not much. But no, it's been going in more of a sciencey direction lately. I've been getting a lot of questions involving quantum physics and astronomy and black holes and that kind of thing, so I've been answering those. And I guess if I were to jump right into my tip, unless you wanted to follow up with that?
Yeah, go for it, yeah.
Would just be, this is actually a channel that I started a long time ago, and I would do it about 6 months and then quit, and then a few months later I'd pick it up again, and then I quit. And it was because I kept getting jacked up over the numbers. And when you're first starting out, you just can't do that. You're just going to get frustrated, and what you have to do is just fall in love with the doing of it. You know, you just have to love what you're doing, and just pursue that and make the best videos you can, and you're going to suck for a little while. It's just how it is. And after you get into the groove and things start to work out, then, you know, your audience will start to be there, but then, you know, there's also, but that's when you want to focus on that. You want to get your video style down first.
Yeah.
I have a question for you, Joe. How long does it take for you not to suck?
I wanted to know that
I'll
too.
get back to you.
If you're Joe, approximately 2 seconds.
10 years. What is it, the 10,000 hours Malcolm Gladwell thing?
Yes.
Yeah, be an expert. That's to be an expert, but we're just talking the suck level. Suck, not suck.
So who was it? I think it was Robert Rodriguez. He was saying your first 3 films are going to suck.
Yeah.
I mean, those are feature films, obviously, so that's a different thing. But it's kind of like just get through them as fast as you can and make all the mistakes that you're going to make and go from there. I always thought that was good.
He made millions off of that first video, his first movie.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Well, thank you for that, Joe. Link to his channels below, along with everyone else's. And Greg, what's your channel about, and what's your tip?
Let's see. My channel is a DIY channel, but it's a DIY channel, but it's really a design channel. And what it's all about is
rocks.
making sure that. Thanks, Kim.
Literally, a lot of heavy metal music on it.
It rocks. It really does rock.
Can you tell I had a background in the rock and roll industry before I went back to architecture? But it's about building things that reflect who you are. So the example I'd use is if you've ever spent an hour looking for a pair of sunglasses or an entire day on a car lot looking for just that right car that fits you, that's what my channel is about. So there's some hands-on stuff, but really we do focus on how to do the things, but really the subtext is what those things say about you, how you design them. So whether that's we've restored vintage Volkswagens, built custom guitars. I even brought a piece with me today, this little iPad holder here. You know, it's like, what does that say about you? And if you look at it, it's like, well, maybe I'm a woodworker, maybe I'm a metal worker, I'm a detail guy, tech nerd, I don't know, whatever it is. But the things you build can actually say something about you, which I think is just way cool when people discover that for themselves. So that's what my channel is about, is showing people that they can do that. As far as what I learned in video labs, the big thing is in business, right? Cash is king. And in YouTube, content is king. So content is our currency. And if you don't have good content, no amount of gaming the system or social media exposure can make up for that. So if you start with good content, the views will follow. And I'm sorry, I'm on an active construction site, so if you can hear all the noise behind me, that's what's going on. But yeah, so
great set.
Start with, what's that?
It looks like a great set. It's like, wow, actually, he's on location.
There's all kinds of construction materials behind me. Can you see all that stuff? Yeah. But anyhow, so yeah, you start with good content, and people will find good content. It will come to the top.
Sweet. And going back to was it Tom's tip about the audience retention? Like, that's how you can get to know. Like, one of the ways you can know if you're making good content. You know, one, are people responding to it, but that graph specifically will help you figure that out too.
It also can really point to what Juan was talking about, which is the hook. You know, usually the biggest drop is usually right at the beginning of the video, and that's if you're not hooking them correctly.
Yeah. Cool. So Chris is here, and Chris, you have some fans with us in the chat. They're like, "Oh, Chris is here. That's awesome. I didn't know he was going through Video Labs." So Chris is like our resident YouTube star, apparently. And Chris,
yeah,
his channel is linked up down there below. But Chris, what's your tip for us? We'll see if his mic works. If not, then we'll let Tom.
Here, I am Chris, and my channel about disability awareness, and we want to help society to understand people who have a disability, that they are a vital part of the community, and encourage people with disabilities that they could be an asset to the community. We do a video every Tuesday and Friday. It is for everybody, so subscribe and start learning. The tip is to keep trying if you feel like you are going nowhere.
I think I heard most of that. Tom, can you summarize it for us?
Well, first of all, let me just say that Chris is a remarkable guy. I mean, he writes his scripts with his head pointer. He's nonverbal, so he has to use an automated voice delivery system. So, but his mission, I heard, is helping the people understand that people with disabilities are an asset to society, and a lot of that. You'll learn a whole lot about Chris and his videos. I did, and I think it's worth the time to not only learn about Chris and meet him, but understand how you can communicate and interact with people in your own life who have limited abilities. Yeah. So yeah, check out his channel. It's pretty inspiring. 2 videos a week, that's huge. I mean, to do that without disability is remarkable. So good job, Chris. You rock, bro.
So we have a whole group of other people who are going to come in here, but after these people are going to drop out, a new wave of creators are going to jump in. But right before we do that, we got 2 questions that you guys asked in the chat. I pulled out. There's a lot of them, but I pulled out 2. One, I'll just answer this one really quick. This one is from Googling for Cash. Says, does one's chance to high viewership increase if you are young? I'm in my 50s. Should I look for an on-air person who's younger? And I would say maybe. Depends on what your topic is. But the point like that I want to make is it's not about your age. It's about the value that you're delivering. Going back to what Will said in the very beginning, is like who are you targeting? What value are you going to deliver to them? And that's far more important than how old you are. YouTube's not a place for young people, just young people. I mean, the last stat I saw, this was years ago, but it was like 55% of people in America ages 65 and older have visited YouTube in the past month. So, yeah, go ahead, Kim. I see you raising your hand.
Yeah, I'd like to add to that because, you know, when I started my channel, I'm certainly not 20. And I found at the beginning, I also had the thought of I'm not young, my people aren't hanging out on YouTube like they would hang out at the mall. You know, my demographic is busy. And I remember going to a VidCon, which is the YouTube convention, and I remember walking around seeing all the kids feeling so old, thinking like I needed to tell them to bake them a cookie and tell them to go to bed. And after 2 days, I'm thinking that, like, what am I doing? Why am I here? I started to see all the moms that were hanging out with their kids, and I started to actually turn on the camera. I had my crew with me, and I turned my camera and I started interviewing them, saying, you know, do you know that there's a place for you on YouTube? No, I just tune in for my kids. And so it was really fascinating. It totally flipped my awareness around to go, yeah, maybe, you know, we're not hanging out on YouTube like, you know, the younger set, but there's a complete, it means the market's wide open for a great message, for commitment to getting it out to people, and you may have to pull them from other venues like Facebook or something where they're hanging out. But yeah, the market is wide open for us.
Good.
So go
Awesome.
50s.
Thank you, Kim. And second question is, and then we're gonna let you guys bow out, and the next group's gonna come in. It's from Mutant Cami. I think she asked it or she or he, I don't know, asked it at least 16 times in chat. Was, can you give tips on getting started, like how to build a following, not just YouTube, but for your whole brand, your website, Facebook, followers, etc. What is the best way to get the ball rolling? So this person's asking a little bit broader than just YouTube, but just your whole brand overall. How do you do that? What advice do you guys have? I'll just let you just jump in and go. Good, Joe.
Oh, my honest advice is just get started, because, you know, Tom mentioned analysis paralysis earlier. That can happen with YouTube or any kind of online social media, anything, and you can get so wrapped up in how to get started that you never get started. The best way to do it is just to go.
I can share for me, I started doing stand-up. I became a speaker so that you really started to get your voice and what you cared about and your method of delivery. I tell everybody, take a stand-up class, because even if you don't want to be stand-up, it actually develops a vertebrae of like your opinions and your view on the world. And then start sharing that in social media, your reflections and what you care about, and do it again and again and again and again and again and again and again.
Cool.
Let me add to that and just say that you know, Tim's channel at Video Creators has a lot of good startup ideas for. I think yes. I agree with Joe in that you just start creating content, but at the same time, give yourself a little bit of a framework. Just think through your visual brand a little bit, whether it's just a logo or a value proposition. What are you creating? And then also the idea of creating a video about why you're creating this content. We called it a creation story, and that can really fuel a lot of your content going forward.
Yeah, I mean, definitely know your why, because I mean, you can just to have some sort of framework. It doesn't have to. You don't have to stick to that, but it's just nice to have yourself anchored to something. If you find out that you don't, this doesn't really fit you, you found out that you like doing this better, that you can go in another direction, but still just have some sort of reason why you want to do this, because that's what's going to keep you there in the long run.
Yeah. I would say, and then we'll, you guys can drop now. I'm going to share my opinion, and we'll let Group B come on in. But thank you guys who are here.
But before you do that, Tim, I just wanted to say that, you know, doing YouTube's doing the videos day in and day out, it's a huge platform. It could be so overwhelming and exhausting, and I just want to recognize you for your passion and your ability to chunk things down in such an understandable, applicable, like like right away. It's not just like philosophy. It's like do this shit and you get it done. And I just want to say thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thanks, Tim. It's been awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tim.
Awesome.
Bye, y'all. Thanks
so-
for watching today.
Yeah, you can check out the links to the channels below. Next group is coming in, and as they're coming in, I see Amin's already here. Welcome, Amin. But my answer to that question is that if the goal of establishing your other platforms isn't just to like get people to just go, like for example, video creators, like I don't actually promote or use my website that often. I use it to give away like my free ebook, The Secret to Building Your YouTube Audience, and I give it to sell some of the training products and things. But other than that, like I don't have a huge reason why I need to get a ton of people over to my website or to these other platforms. So whenever I do promote or push myself on another platform, it's because I'm pitching a different kind of value to my audience that I can't deliver on YouTube. So I'll get people on the Instagram and Snapchat so they get to know me personally as a person, like rather than the YouTube guy. Like I actually have a life outside of YouTube as well, right? So that's the place where you can get to know that on Snapchat and Instagram. My Facebook page at facebook.com/video creators. That is a place where I can have lots of meaningful discussions with creators outside of videos that I can't really do here on YouTube, and so I get to have more interaction and personal interaction with people directly there on the Facebook page. So that's a value that happens over there. And so whenever I do pitch one of these things, it's because of something like that. And the best way to transfer your audience is by saying, integrating into your content, but also saying why they should go there and what value they're going to get by liking your Facebook page or something like that. So I actually have a whole video coming up next month about that very topic. So how to do that. Outside of videos. Welcome, people. Someone needs to mute me in the background. Whoever's watching me in the background, you're with me now, so you can turn me off there. And so we got some more creators come in to answer questions for you guys, to give you guys some YouTube tips and stuff. As we kind of wrap up our call here, we've got 4 of them so far, and there should be some more joining us. So welcome. I'll let Amin goes first. Tell us a little bit about your channel and what value you deliver there, but also then the tip that you want to give to us.
Hi everyone, my name is Amin. I'm a daily vlogger, a daily South Asian vlogger. I vlog about my life, my experiences as a South Asian living in basically North America, because I found there's a lot of a lot of stuff that other cultures don't know, and a lot of stuff that my cultures don't know about other cultures. So I try to bridge the gap to show people that we can all live together in one place in harmony. My tip, because I've noticed in the chat there's there's quite a few vloggers listening. With vlogging, and I learned this obviously from having conversations with Tim, vlogging is a game of patience and building a relationship. There's no quick and easy way about it. You got to grind it out, and you just got to long-term build relationships with your viewers, because one thing I've noticed, and Tim hit it on the head while we're doing the courses, people will come view my vlogs once, twice, 13, 14, 20 times before they may actually subscribe or actually watch more content. So my tip, and I think this works across the board, is just patience is a virtue, is the key.
Perfect. What do you guys think? You guys, JC, Ted, Aria, Anna, you guys, does that ring true for any of you?
That sounds amazing.
Perfect. That's for me too. So I was replying to people in chat. Everyone's wondering, like, how do I get in? Like, how do I join the chat? How do I join?
Yeah, the chat wasn't quite. The link didn't work. So Marlon, somewhere in there, was clever enough to respond back. I think he's on the back end being very helpful.
Cool.
But I think the commentary makes a lot of sense to me. But what I've noticed that people like the most is content of a very high quality. So it's stuff that really makes a difference for your audience, and I guess part of that is really knowing your audience. And because I'm fortunate enough to actually at times meet with people who watch my videos, I have a pretty good idea of the stuff that they're responding to. And one of the things that I've really noticed is that people love to be able to download something. Some of our more popular videos, one of them we just sent out last week, was about emotional neglect. Now I know for my audience that's a really big deal because we focus on trauma and helping trauma survivors. Childhood emotional neglect is a big topic, but what we did was we added some links to the material, and I know because I'm tracking where we're getting downloads, and we're getting downloads all over the world. We had some downloads in Australia, in the Middle East, in Hawaii, a lot in the U.S., some in Canada, but it's that high content stuff where people get to download something that's useful to them that seems to make a big difference.
Cool. Awesome. So that was your tip 2, right? And your channel is linked up below, which is all about helping people through PTSD and other things.
Yeah, well, the big thing about the work that I do is that I know that, trauma is I call it the great human equalizer, because I see people experience really difficult things that they haven't been able to get over. And of course, this could be just about anything. It doesn't matter whether you're military or paramilitary, your emergency services, or maybe you're somebody who's experienced childhood abuse, or you've experienced an assault, or you just went to a party where a bad fight broke out and something really awful happened and you haven't been able to get over it. Trauma can be a lot of things, but the marker that I look at is how long does it continue to bother you, and what kind of things are you struggling with. Yeah. And what I know, because I do so much work with trauma survivors, is that although trauma can be really tough, there are so many different ways in which people can recover. So I really want to encourage people to be hopeful. And the What is PTSD channel is, it's really focused on helping people, whether they're professionals helping trauma survivors or they're trauma survivors. That's who we're really building the channel for. And I guess our real hope is that people can feel that they have a place to go where they can get information that's valuable to them, that makes a difference, and gives them an opportunity to feel like they're not so alone in that challenge.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, talk about channels that are making a difference and spreading messages that change lives, right? That's awesome.
We hope.
Yeah, awesome. Ted, what's your channel about, and what's your tip and advice for us?
Okay, what's up, guys? My name's Ted. I run a channel called Tough Customer. It is a tech review channel. I review consumer technology. And you might be thinking, well, there are a ton of other channels like that reviewing the latest tech, but I think what makes me a little bit different is that I tend to focus less on hardware specifications, stuff like that, and more about how is this thing really going to improve your life. Maybe that's not quite changing lives on the scale as someone like helping people through trauma or something like that. But
really good, yeah.
I like to think that my goal is to make your life better or easier or more efficient. And I think that means covering more things than just like smartphones. Hopefully, I'll show you things that maybe you haven't heard of before. Stuff you might not have seen, or even stuff you've seen, maybe you just haven't thought of it in quite the same way. And I guess my tip would be one thing I hadn't really thought of much before going into this class. Well, there was a bunch, but one thing in particular was the collaborations. I hadn't really taken that idea too seriously, but after going through the class, it's pretty clear that collaborations can be the fastest way to grow your channel. And not only that, but the subscriber growth isn't the only thing that's valuable that you can get out of them. It might not even be the most valuable thing. You're getting a relationship with another YouTuber who you could know for years and years, and that has value in and of itself as well.
That's really good, Ted. We got a question about that from Dave Sheerhan. He said in the chat, to approach someone about collaborating, do you feel better to message them via YouTube message or an email, or what method? I have used YouTube message a few times, but I've rarely had a reply. I don't even check my YouTube messages. Like, I haven't checked it in like a year, I don't think. It's just too much junk in there.
Yeah.
But Ted and me, the rest of you guys, how would you recommend reaching out to a YouTuber for a collaboration?
I would say
Let Anna get the phone. I'll mute her so you don't listen to her private conversation.
I would say, and I'd love to hear what you think, Tim, but I would say it depends a little bit on who the YouTuber is. If you're targeting, say, like a really, really big YouTuber that has many more subscribers than you, I think maybe a good way to start is to follow them on Twitter, start responding to things that they say, and to think more about what value you can give them than about asking them for a plug or asking them for a collaboration. And finding those little ways to do that, and maybe doing that slowly over time.
Very, very important, yeah. Because a lot of people go into collaborations trying to, like, if I can only get in front of that person's audience, if I can only get, and it's always about, like, how do I extract value from this person? But if you go into it like, hey, how can I serve you? Like, I love your content. I want to promote it to my audience. Is there anything you're working on right now that I could promote to them? And, like, every YouTuber responds to that one, right? Like, oh, you're going to promote me to your audience? Yeah, like, promote this or the other thing. Or they say, not really. I'm not really working on anything right now, but you could promote, my channel. It'd be great. Thanks. Then you go and do it, and then you follow up and say, hey, look, I promoted you. It was awesome. It was really super valuable to my audience. They loved it, and it's just a way to start building a relationship that can lead to much bigger things than just a one-off collaboration. It's really cool.
And I've been thinking about a slightly different twist on it as well. I've reached out to a couple of YouTubers who are doing things that are related to my work, but they're not specifically trauma related. They're not specifically trauma, and so we can have this conversation where we have somebody, I'm talking right now next week with somebody who focuses on narcissists, and narcissists are kind of people who are, not very interested in your well-being, and they can be kind of mean and difficult to deal with, and that can be traumatic. So the YouTuber that I'm going to be talking with specializes in helping people who deal with narcissists, but not necessarily trauma. So it kind of brings this new flavor into my work and into the YouTuber's work. So we can have a new conversation that pairs what she's talking about with what I'm talking about, and bringing a new perspective. So I like that idea of the new perspective.
Yeah, cool. Let's go to Aria. What's your channel about, and what's your...
Hi, everyone. So, yeah, my channel is basically targeted to people who are having troubles with eating disorders, and I myself have been through a whole bunch of things with food-related issues and body image issues. So I, through my channel, try and help people who are going through struggles with binge eating or anorexia, and try and help them to find a way to transform their lives and their bodies through, like, changing the way they think about things and changing their patterns. So that's what I basically do.
Really important for a lot of people. That's awesome. Thank you for doing that, Aria. So what's your tip?
So the things I found really helpful through this course was basically getting feedback from everyone in the group and sharing the same struggles as they were sharing, and, like, feeling like it's not something you're going through alone, but rather feeling like this is generally like a community on YouTube. It's real people out there, and they're all trying to share everything they can, just most of the time because they're passionate about it, and I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
Really
Sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah.
Okay, so how would you recommend maybe other creators going about finding that community? Because it really is important. I have a video coming out next week, I think, about helping creators push through the dip. We've been talking about it a little bit here, and one of the points I want to make is that you need to surround yourself with other people who have already pushed past the dip, and how important that is.
Mm-hmm.
So do you have any advice on how a creator, and the rest of you too, but Ari, I'll start with you, how someone can push or find that group?
I think generally, like, being a little bit patient with getting subscribers and getting people to comment on your videos, but also I think it's really important to watch other channels that are maybe not so popular, so that you can write and kind of respond to each other and build relationships with people rather than just like following like popular channels that are not really going to have the time to communicate with you back.
Yeah.
So that way you kind of create relationships and you help promote each other and just support each other in general. Yeah.
Sweet. Amin, Anna, JC, Ted, any thoughts on how to find that community or create it if there isn't one?
I think if the key to building your own community is you need to be the expert or be a perceived expert. It comes down to, do you want to follow an ambassador or do you want to be the ambassador? Right? So, I mean, I've been fortunate that, you know, on my other channel, there's really no one doing anything that, you know, I'm doing in terms of making music for South Asians and how to do it. And I've also found out that, you know, there's not that many South Asian daily vloggers either. So I've kind of fell into that. And it's a cool feeling knowing that you have an opportunity to build something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just one of those things where you gotta have the mindset and just do it. You know, if you want to build a community, then act like you're building a community. It's not something that's just gonna, you know, hop on your doorstep. You know, all the tips and tricks that you taught us and what, you know, Aria was saying, like, and that's where I find a lot of YouTubers like, well, you know, how do you build? Well, you know, how do you build a house? You start from the foundation, right? Mm-hmm. Or, you know, start from the planning stages. You just gotta find something and just do it.
Yeah, you could look on like Facebook groups. There's tons of them. If there's not one, you can go create one. But I know plenty of Facebook groups of YouTubers who are working together in there. Social Blade has a forum. FameBit has a private Facebook group. That's yttalk.com. There's a lot of places to find them online. But I have found, like, I love the personal ones, the ones that we like face-to-face ones we get to do in video labs and such, because I feel like I get to actually know people's channels and dig into them with them rather than like just a place where you can ask questions from people who don't know you. So I like it. Cool. JC, what are your guys' channel about, and what's your tip for us? Oh, I don't hear you. I don't think your mic's working. You can hover over it, and go to settings at the top. Make sure you get the right microphones like it. That's the downside of like just bringing people in like this is because we don't get to test it beforehand, but like we do with the first group, that we'll get it working. While she's working on that, make sure the other question we were going to answer is from William Ray Walters. How much of your success do you attribute to marketing and promotion? And success can be defined however you want to define it. It sounds like, since they're asking about marketing and promotion, they're talking about views and subscribers, but other people, you know, can define it many different ways. So those of you who are here, what do you attribute the success you've had so far? What do you attribute it to?
Personally, for my vlogging channel, not much. Because again, it's life to life, it's person to person. I think if you're a vlogger, you got to throw some of the traditional business things out of the window and basically have a human conversation. That's probably, you know, the best thing. Even when I'm out and about, people don't really care about it's like what I'm doing, not why I'm doing it.
Right.
But in terms of my how-to channel, it's all marketing. It's, you know, social media. It's and the thing that I found is, you got to pick the one where your audience is. You can't just, you know, you can go guns blazing and do everything and, you know, do the Facebooks, do the Twitters, but, you know, I've picked sort of my specialties that I like doing, and I found, you know, for me personally on my channel has been mainly Twitter. So, you know, if I put a video out, I'll tweet it and, you know, talk about it. But again, with the marketing, I found it's not just like you've posted a video and it's like, oh, here's my video, guys, go watch it. No, there's more to that. There's got to be, you know, tips. You got to talk to your audience. You know, I'm always asking questions. And I know, Tim, you do the same thing because I'm on your Facebook group for video creators as well. And you know, you're very engaged in that. You'll ask questions. You'll post like, you know, tips and tricks, or, you know, that's really important.
The community in the videos, things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's, you know, it's a different type of like a person-to-person thing.
Yeah.
But you got to be engaged.
There's a lot of different ways that, especially when you're first starting out. The first thing that needs to happen is that your content has to be solid, right? It doesn't matter how good you promote it if the content is bad, right? So that's why I recommend, like, and again, I didn't really mean for this to turn into a plug, but my book, 30 Days to a Better YouTube Channel, like, that's the process that I run people through that will make it as likely as possible that your channel is highly subscribable and that your content's good. And then after that, like, is in place, then I would start, like, yeah, now we know that the promotion and the energy we're putting into that is actually going to work, because a lot of people, they just assume that their content's awesome. But for anyone who has, like, made videos for more than, like, a year or two, like, you go back and look at your first videos you made, and you're probably embarrassed by them. Like, you're probably like, why did I even publish? That's terrible compared to what you're doing now, right? So make sure your content's good, and then depending on the type of content, there's several different strategies. We talked about collaborations. There's also sharing, and shareability is a good way to get discovered. There's search is another good way. Networking with other people. There's a lot of different ways to do it. There's paid promotion as well. So which direction you go really depends on what your goals are and the audience you're trying to reach, and the type of content you're making, things like that. But at the end of the day, I would say that having a promotion strategy is really important, because people just, a lot of times, they assume that their content's just going to perform because it's awesome, and that's not always the case. So I would say that it's important to think just as much about how you're going to grow your audience as much as you think about the content that you're making. So cool. JC, is it working? No. Do you click the little gear icon for settings at the top, and then you got the microphone there? I don't have you muted, do I? Nope, I don't. It's not gonna work. Oh no. Do you have a different microphone you can try or anything? No. Well, JC's channel, she has a couple channels. I'm not sure which one I've linked up down there. I think I made the one about their company's channel, but they also have another one. If you search YouTube for Life Tree Family, I've been working with JC, and another one for coworkers, Brian, and been making a channel that helps people grow together as a family. So just search for Life Tree Family, you'll find that. I don't think I linked that one below, but I'm on there. It's been fun because I'm really passionate about family. It's a fun project to do that I really think is one that really has a lot of potential to change a lot of lives and make an impact. So it's not going to work. I'll give you one more shot. Not working? Ah, bummer. Cool. Well, and Ari's in here twice. Look at that. Hack the hangout. That's awesome. So great questions, guys. Let's see if we can hit one more here. I didn't have it. I was looking at other stuff. Mr. Tool Hunter says, should we delete our bad videos? What do you guys think?
No, I would say no.
Why do you say no, Aria?
Because I think that every video you're going to make is going to be better. So if you keep deleting your old ones, then there's not really the growth that people will be able to see in your channel. And, like, I think it's really nice to be able to see the human element of, like, being someone who's not so good at something and developing in that area, rather than just seeming like you're perfect all the time.
Yeah.
Just like more.
I agree. That's my same advice too. Leave them there. They're not hurting anything. If anything, it shows your journey, and people can say, "Oh, this is where they've come from. Look how far they've come. That's awesome."
Yeah, and I love, like, looking at some YouTubers' channels and looking at their really old videos and seeing how far they've come. It's just amazing.
Yeah. Like me. Because I've started video creators with my iPhone, just like this, literally, like, first, like, half of the first year or so, I was just vlogging into my iPhone about it. Then I just, like, I'll do the DSLR. Then I got the background, then I got the lights and stuff like that. But that's how I started. Cool, guys. I just put the link in the chat, the Life Tree Family channel, and I'll also update this video with it down there below for those of you guys who are interested. So sorry, JC, we can't hear you. But you can go watch her. She just did a great video on parenting hacks, 3 tips on how to keep your kids safe during Halloween. So it's coming up this week as of this recording, so you go check that out and watch her in that video. So the rest of you guys, thanks for hanging out. Again, if you are interested in going through a video labs with us sometime, you can put it, there's a link in the description below this video here, so you can go check it out and get more information about it if you'd like. Also, sign up for the text message list if you want to get notified whenever I do go live spontaneously, just when I have time to hang out. And check out all the channels from the people down below. They're in the description. And also, if you have any tips that you would like to share with the rest of us, the comments of this video will be open afterwards, and there will be people watching it later. So even though the chat doesn't go onto the video, the rest of you guys who are watching this later, definitely leave your comments down there, and a lot of people will find them valuable. So thank you for hanging out, guys. It's been fun, and we'll catch up with you guys sometime later. Bye.